MzeroA Nation, Jason Shapper here, MzeroA.com, alongside the love of my life, Magda.
Hi, everyone.
We're diving back into radio communications here today. So day 17 was the last time you did radio communications in the Safer Pilot Challenge, and you did fantastic. And if you read every single comment, everybody loved you and related to you, right?
You are so kind.
They were so kind as well, but they understand it, and they certainly get it, no doubt, because everybody has been there. Today we're going to infuse the science of learning in some of your radio communications. And really there's two principles here we're going to apply. First off, learning that is difficult is truly learning that is durable. And we learn through making mistakes.
Yes.
Our radio communications get better through making mistakes. TP, I love you. You're going to make mistakes today.
Yes.
It's just, it's going to happen. And that's actually a great mindset to go into a flight lesson of, I'm not going to hurt anybody, I'm not going to break your regulations, I'm not going to bend metal, but I'm going to make mistakes, and mistakes are okay. When we get rid of that worry, that anxiety, the lessons, you can just flow and be that much better with that. The second part is we're going to add something called mixed practice to the equation. Mixed practice is varying up how we practice. You're thinking, how do I mix up radio communications? Well, we're going to do a class Delta departure.
Okay.
We're then going to pick up VFR Flight Following, and then we're going to do uncontrolled pilot-controlled operations at one of our favorite places, Cedar Key. So mixing up the type of radio calls from a little tower to approach or departure control to a little tiny airport. And that'll allow us to make mistakes, learn, and just when we're starting to get good at something, we're starting to get good at flight following, we switch to pilot-controlled radio communications, and that's how the science of learning really works. So enough rambling, me geeking out on the science of learning. Sweetheart, I will fly the airplane so you can focus on one thing, which is making great radio calls. And I will teach as much as you want me to teach, and I will zip it as much as I need to zip it, and we'll work through that here together. So we know starting Class Delta, we need to start by go ahead and listening to our ATIS.
5 and Alpha 6 closed. Light to moderate bird activity, all quadrants. VFR aircraft advise ground control direction of flight. Advise on initial contact you have ATIS information, Kilo.
Kilo.
Any total information, Kilo, 72151. Wind 1106, visibility 10, few 5,500. Temperature 21, dew point 09, air altimeter 3018. Visual approach runway 18. Noticed airman. Taxiway Alpha closed between Alpha 3 and Alpha 7. Taxiway Alpha 5 and Alpha 6 closed. Light to moderate bird activity, all quadrants. VFR aircraft advise ground control direction of flight. Advise on initial contact you have ATIS information, Kilo.
Kilo is what we have. Okay, so I put it, you got
Flight
Kilo.
820,
Great.
Ocala.
Copy,
Let's listen to ground.
Go ahead.
Cap Flight 820, and you can go ahead and taxi up to and hold short of the runway if you'd like.
We're going to go ahead.
Yeah, we're ready to do that, and I'll be switching to the
I'm
tower.
going to mute him down just for a second. Remind me to turn him back up. Anybody ever done that, left the volume down too low and wonder why you couldn't hear him?
Yes. Before I forget,
Yes.
could you please check my window, please?
Yes. Your window is fine. I already secured it.
Okay.
But good question. Let's go ahead. We've listened to Kilo now. We need to practice real quick. So remember, tower's not expecting us. We're going to cold call first.
Okay.
So what's a cold call sound like? This is ground in this case.
Okay.
So Ocala ground, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu.
Ocala ground, Skyhawk 23 Mike.
Okay, you got to get the microphone a little bit closer. You have to almost be kissing it.
Okay.
All right, so let's try it again.
Ocala ground, Skyhawk 23 Mike.
Yep, still a little, you got to be right in front.
Ocala ground, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu.
Great. They're going to come back. Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu. This is Ocala ground. Go ahead. Then we're going to let them know. 23 Mike Zulu. I'm at the North T hangars. Information Kilo. VFR West. And we zip it. Those three things. Where am I? What information do I have? Where do I want to go? That's what we're going to work through. So we're going to call out. They're going to say, 23 Mike Zulu, taxi to 18 via Alpha 1 or Alpha. Something very simple like that. 18 via Alpha 1. And I'll help you with that portion of it, okay? Let's go ahead and let's try our first radio call here together. You want to practice it one more time?
I would love that. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be ground, you practice.
Okay. Ocala ground, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu.
23 Mike Zulu, this is Ocala ground. Go ahead.
23 Mike Zulu, North T hangars, info Kilo, VFR West.
Perfect. 23 Mike Zulu, taxi to 18 via Alpha 1.
18 Alpha 1.
Yep.
23 Mike Zulu.
I would even write 18 on your paper now.
Okay.
Because they said it in the ATIS, and when he says that, we'll just circle it to confirm it.
Okay.
So 18. I'd put it. I wouldn't do it this way. I'd put it next to each other like an 18.
All right.
You don't confuse yourself. 18.
18.
Yep. And then it'll probably be 18 via alpha. Maybe alpha 1. So I'd write alpha and be ready to add a 1 at the end of it. Just, again, looking ahead as to what our taxi is going to look like on a taxiway diagram, okay?
All right.
Let's go ahead and let's make that radio call.
Okay.
And your little button there.
Ocala ground, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu.
23 Mike Zulu, Ocala ground.
23 Mike Zulu, Norte Hangars, information kilo, VFR West.
23 Mike Zulu, runway 18, taxi Alpha 2 or Alpha 1, and altimeter 3019.
18 via Alpha 2.
18 via Alpha 2, 23 Mike Zulu.
You did way better than him. He was messing up on the radios. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's look. We planned Alpha 1, which is that way. It's actually Alpha 2 right here in front of us. I've got Alpha 2 out that direction. Awesome. Awesome job. It shows the power, too, of writing things down as well, okay? Really, really great job. All right, I got some traffic in front of us here. Again, you just focus on your radios. Let's listen.
Alpha 2.
Yep. So I see Alpha 2. Can you confirm Alpha 2 outside?
Confirmed.
All right. 18, I see a sign right in front of us. 18 is to our right. We're going to make an all right turn. So I'm on Alpha 2, making a right turn on Alpha towards 18. Great, great job.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, so we're going to taxi on down. I'll knock out our run up, and then we're going to call tower for departure.
Okay.
And our departure call, tower already knows we're coming. It'll just be Ocala Tower, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, runway 18, ready for departure. It'll actually be Alpha 1, runway 18, ready for departure, just to let them know where you're at. I mean,
yes.
And you could just call 23 Mike Zulu is ready for departure. I like to say, you know, Alpha 1, 18, ready for departure, so they know where I'm at on the field, because some people do take intersection departures. I imagine he knows where we are, but at a big airport, it's a good habit to have. So you'd read it just like the signs. This sign to the left here, Alpha 1, 18.
Okay.
So Alpha 1, 18, or ready for departure, or ready for takeoff. Either of those phrases are great.
We have a lot of traffic today.
We do have a lot of traffic today. Do my best to turn us into the wind and get out of anybody else's way, although no one else is coming.
Yep.
And I will knock out our run up here. All right, brakes, hold, flight controls, right side up, left side down, left side up, right side down, full back, full forward, wagging our tail back there. Everything looks good. Instruments all set. 3018 is in there. Mixture's going rich. Throttle's going up to 1700. I'm so proud of your radio calls. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, primary reach. Left side on the mags, back to both. Right side. Great drops, back to both. Carburetor heat. All looks good. Engine instruments, green, 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 green. Idle smooth. Great. And then before takeoff, we'll switch to L2 automatically. Everything else is set. So run up and before takeoff, checklist complete. Cool.
Okay.
So we flip-flopped over to tower.
Yes.
We are on tower.
Okay.
There's no need to cold call. Ocala Tower, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu. Look at the sign. Alpha 1, 18, ready for departure. There's only really two options he's going to give you. 23 Mike Zulu, runway 18, you're clear for takeoff. Or 23 Mike Zulu, runway 18, hold short. Or hold short, runway 18, for the actual verbiage. So your read back is either going to be 18 clear for takeoff, or 18 hold short.
Okay.
Are really the only two. I mean, there's a few little instances of some things you could get, but for the most part, those are the two things we're going to get and hear.
Okay.
So you are on tower.
Yes.
I don't quite see anybody on final, but it's so busy I could be surprised. Let's go ahead and let's make that radio call. And it's Ocala Tower this time.
Yes. Okay. Ocala Tower, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, Alpha 1, runway 18, ready for departure.
23 Mike Zulu, Caltech, roger. Runway 18, clear for takeoff. For time being, fly runway heading. I'll advise you turn to the west.
18, clear for takeoff, runway heading. Go for it. 18, clear.
18, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading.
Runway heading, 23 Mike Zulu.
That's okay. He says, okay. That's fine.
Okay.
So what he said was 18.
Mooney 90155.
We're clear for takeoff.
Runway 18.
He wants us to maintain runway heading.
Runway 18, clear for
He will advise our turn to the west, he
departing
said.
to the west.
This will be a full stop final, but cleared for runway 18. 55X.
55X, all right. In that case, runway 18, you're clear to land.
Airspeed's
Clear to
live.
land, runway
Engine
18.
gauges confirmed. Green, 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 green. There we go. Nice. And we're just going to fly runway heading because he's got somebody else out there. We're going to fly runway heading up and out of here. Not too shabby so far. Mistakes are part of the process. Again, I really only gave you 2 scenarios. I told you he's going to clear your takeoff or tell you hold short. He could also clear your takeoff.
Cessna 23 Mike Zulu, at your discretion, you can make your right turn out to the west.
Our discretion to the west, 23 Mike Zulu.
Our discretion to the west, 23 Mike Zulu.
What does that mean?
We are ready to make the turn?
Yeah, at our discretion, meaning when we believe it's best, we can make that turn out to the west.
Yes.
All right? So we are plenty high. Life is looking good. Let's make that turn out to the west. It's one thing to just listen to your instructor say, your discretion, turn to the west. It's another thing for especially instructors watching this.
37 Juliet, how far from Lucky are you now?
Ask your students, what does that mean? Help them with the radio call, but then ask them, what exactly does that mean,
over the
Jason?
numbers, runway 18, you're close to
That's
the option.
important, too.
That's the option 18, 37 Juliet.
All right. Awesome.
That's the Cardinal, 5 miles to the northeast, 34013.
All right, we're going to climb us on
very
up.
good, sir. You're looking for a sky lane that's inside a 5 mile final now for runway 18. Report him in sight to follow.
Looking for skyline.
All right, autopilot's got it.
Thanks so much for Alpha 3, and to the ramp with me, sir.
To the ramp with you, Alpha 3, 55 X-ray.
We're listening. The next thing he's going to tell us is 23 Mike Zulu, frequency change approved.
Okay.
And you're just going to say,
23 Mike Zulu,
see you next
frequency
time.
change approved.
Say, see you in a little bit, 23 Mike Zulu.
See you later, 23 Mike Zulu.
Oh, you don't have to get all fancy with it now. Wow. Somebody's just showing off now. That is not in the pilot controller glossary. I want everyone to note that is not in the pilot controller glossary. Okay. Here's our next step. And this is going to be a big one. Hopefully controller Bob's working. I mean, you get really, really lucky if controller Bob's working, okay?
235 Delta Whiskey. Change my frequency 118.6 if you're not already there.
That doesn't sound like controller Bob for starters. Let me turn them down. We're now going to pick up VFR Flight Following.
Okay.
They're not expecting us. VFR Flight Following is on a workload permitting basis. Basically, we're calling up Jack's Approach. We're asking for traffic advisories on our way on out to Cedar Key today. And we're going to continue climbing up. You're going to cold call them first. Jack's Approach,
Okay.
Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu. This is where Jamie Beckett always says, it's like ordering pizza. Who am I? Where am I? And what do I want? Who am I? So we call him up. Jack's Approach, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu. 23 Mike Zulu, go ahead. Jack's Approach, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu. I'm 5 miles west of Ocala. That's where am I? They already know I'm a Skyhawk, so they know what kind of airplane I am. What do I want? Request VFR Flight Following to Cedar Key. Charlie, Delta, Kilo. That's the identifier for Cedar Key. You can drop the kilo in there. There's no need to add the kilo for KCDK. It's just Charlie, Delta, Kilo.
Do I need to say Charlie, Delta,
Kilo, yep. To Cedar Key. I'm sure he'll probably know it, but maybe he's new. Maybe he just transferred from New York. You don't know.
Yeah.
Charlie, Delta, Kilo to help them out.
Okay.
They may ask you what altitude we're going to. We're going to 4,500 feet, if he happens to ask. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Depends how busy they really are.
Okay.
Let's practice.
Okay. Jack's Approach, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu.
23 Mike Zulu, this is Jack's Approach. Go ahead.
Jack's Approach, Do I say 23 Mike Zulu
Again, yes.
first?
Nope, Jack's approach, 23 Mike Zulu.
Okay.
You could even skip the Jacks and just say 23 Mike Zulu is blank.
Jack's approach, 23 Mike Zulu, 5 miles to the west of Ocala, requesting VFR Flight Following to Cedar Key, Charlie, Delta, Kilo.
23 Mike Zulu, squawk 7745.
7745.
Get ready to write it down,
Yeah.
then you say it back to him.
I just say the numbers, right?
Yep, but be ready to write them down because they're going to give them to you, okay?
Yes.
All right, at this point, though, we're 7 miles west of Ocala, so update your little notes and let's give him a radio call. I'm going to turn him up.
Okay.
Number 6, Romeo Tango, say altitude leading.
Wait,
9,000, descend into 8,000.
you're doing awesome.
Thank you.
Go for it.
Jack's approach, Skyhawk, 23 Mike Zulu.
Skyhawk, calling Jack, approach again, didn't catch the call sign.
Give me your whole call sign. Give me everything now. Yep, go for it. Go for it.
Jack's approach, 23 Mike Zulu, 7 miles to the west of Ocala, requesting VFR Flight Following to Cedar Key, Charlie, Delta, Kilo.
And for Cedar Key, say the call sign one more time.
23 Mike Zulu.
23 Mike Zulu.
I get the microphone a little bit closer. You're having a hard time hearing you.
Number 23 Mike Zulu, squawk 0451.
0451.
0451, 23 Mike Zulu.
All right, champion 04.
Conventional aircraft use cause for
All right.
jumping at Palaca Airport.
Next thing he's going to say is number 23 Mike Zulu, your radar contact, 10 miles west of Ocala. Ocala altimeter 3018.
Jacksonville approach.
You'll say 3018. 23 Mike Zulu.
Passing through 3,500 feet, IFR to Tallahassee.
We're probably next, so keep listening.
And Jacksonville 5737, Juliet City on the mid.
Number 800 Alpha Charlie, Jack's approach.
00 Alpha Charlie, go ahead.
0 Alpha Charlie, contact Tampa approach on 135.5.
35.5, thank you.
Hangar 5 Sierra Tango, Jack's departure, ident, climb and maintain 10,000 and turn right heading 180. Number 235 Delta Whiskey, descend and maintain 3,000.
Yes.
5 Delta Whiskey down to 3,000.
Sierra 260 Sierra Romeo, contact Tampa approach 135.5. Good day.
55, have a good one. Thank you. 00 Romeo.
If he doesn't come back in a bit,
Jump 3.
I'd like you to reach
Radar
out to
service
him.
terminated, change advice frequency
Jax
first.
23 Mike Zulu, just want to confirm we're radar contact.
Just confirm what?
Just confirm we are radar contact.
Okay.
West 9916, Jack's approach, the Gainesville altimeter 3021, descend and maintain 3,000, expect a visual approach, runway 11. West 9916, proceed direct
Confirm
Lowry.
we are radar contact.
Hangar 5 Sierra Tango, proceed direct thermo.
When will be a good time?
Let's give him another 60 seconds or so. It's been a
Number
little...
23 Mike Zulu's radar contact 15 miles west of the Ocala Airport.
Thank you to the Mike Zulu.
Thank you, 23 Mike Zulu.
Answer our question for us. Sometimes they'll come back, you know, Ocala altimeter this, no landing information, Cedar Key.
Okay.
He was just, I'm super busy right now. I got you on radar. I'm watching you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for with the radar
Number 2 Papa Golf,
radar
contact Tampa
contact.
approach 135.5 today.
That was awesome.
135.5.
You did so good. So
It's really helping me writing it down.
absolutely.
The key
Practicing,
point. Yes.
right? The verbalizing, and then the written form as well. And we are just working through multiple means to continue
Yes.
ingraining that process. And then what I'd like you to do
166 Romeo Tango,
is after this is
level
done,
at 8,500.
we're back at the house. Let's review what you wrote down and practice that again. And let's ask, why did you have me say that? Because it's tough to ask questions. It's tough to ask questions in this environment where we're going 102 miles an hour. Right? It's very, very tough. So, MzeroA Nation, we've got, it says 18 minutes until Cedar Key. why don't we crank up some super cool music, enjoy the sunset for a bit, and we will pick this right up once Jack's approach comes back to us with probably dropping our flight following, or we'll cancel it, and then we'll dive into the pilot-controlled, uncontrolled radio communications at Cedar Key, and then we'll test my short field landing capabilities with a landing 2,200 feet at Cedar Key. So let's crank up the music and let's enjoy the sunset.
It is beautiful.
Isn't it?
Number 23, Mike Zulu, no traffic observed between your position and Cedar Key Airport. Radar service terminated. Squawk VFR, frequency change approved. Good day.
Have a good day, to the Mike Zulu.
Have a good day, 23 Mike Zulu.
That's a good example of getting canceled, except we're 15 miles away is the problem, but it's no big deal. Of course, he cancels us right before we cross over the water. Like, not exactly when I want him to cancel us, but he has limited radar. The guys in Jacksonville, Florida, I mean, you can picture how far away that is.
4,000.
So we are going to...
CRA is right midfield, right downwind for option approach leeward.
He's over at leeward. We're going to switch over, and we are listening to Cedar Key now.
Okay.
You're number one, Peter. You go ahead.
I'm going to mute, turn them down for a second. We are on a Unicom frequency, a CTAF frequency, and there are a lot of others. There's the leeward, the grass strip back in Ocala.
Yes.
There's so many other places that utilize this same frequency. This is why it's so important that we follow the appropriate structure for uncontrolled, or as I call them, pilot-controlled airport operations. And it's typically as follows. We start and end with where we are, Cedar Key.
Okay.
So, Cedar Key traffic. Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk, 23 Mike Zulu. I'm 13 miles, or whatever this says here, 13 miles to the east. Always look to the bottom of your compass to see where you're at. So I'm 13 miles to the east, inbound for landing, Cedar Key. That simple. Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, watch me again here, 13 miles to the east, inbound for landing, Cedar Key. This far out, I can keep my radio calls kind of that vague, and I'll call about every 2 miles. So I'll start at 10, I'll call at 8, I'll call at 6. Then as I get closer, I can get more specific with what I'm going to do. I'm going to overfly the field for a left downwind 2-3. We get more specific the closer we get with this. But let's give a call now. I mean, might as well do it super early to practice. Let's do 12 miles out. Now you have to be careful you don't step on anybody.
Yes.
So we have to listen for our spot. And it's just a quick radio call. Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, 12 miles to the east, inbound for landing, Cedar Key.
Yep, I got it.
I think the radio is yours whenever you're ready.
Okay. Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, 12 miles east, inbound for landing, Cedar Key.
Beautiful. Let's call it again at 10 miles.
Okay.
And then at 8 miles, then at 6 miles, and then as we get a little closer, we'll start to really fine-tune what we're doing. I'm going to start a nice slow descent on down, by the way. Also, back when Jax dropped us, he said squawk VFR. We know VFR is 1200, so we went back to 1200 on the transponder as well.
Oh, okay.
We got rid of our beacon code that he gave us. So we're looking good. We're just waiting until 10 miles, which is basically here, if you want to give that same call.
Okay.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, 10 miles to the east, inbound for landing, Cedar Key. As soon as you find some dead space on the radio. Did you hear that weird sound? That warping sound was the sound that makes when two people step. That noise too? That's when a lot of people just step on each other. No one hears anything. You hear whistles and warps and all sorts of stuff. You got dead space here? Let's make a radio call.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, 10 miles to the east, inbound for landing, Cedar Key.
Awesome radio call. Once again. There's two types of pilots. There's button smashers, and there's those who don't hit the button enough. You're one who doesn't hit the button enough. Or sometimes you're so nervous, you're shaking on the button, and that causes you to let go, and people don't hear that. When you hear that pop like that, you're not holding the radio down.
You hear it.
You can also look here. When you transmit, watch, it says TX. When someone else is transmitting, it says RX.
Oh, good trick.
So you can always kind of know.
Runway 9.
That's for the ID for the VOR. I've got Cedar Key in sight. I'm bringing us a little bit out here so we have a true nice downwind to 2-3.
To get the 10 ready.
Where is the runway?
It's that little end of the kind of peninsula out there. Not the island, but the peninsula portion sticking out here. It's very, very small. We are 6 miles out. Would you like to make a radio call?
Turn up on 18.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, 6 miles to the east, inbound for landing, Cedar Key.
You can also see this repetitions, getting good every 2 miles calling out. Now let's mix it up a little bit. When we get 4 miles out, we're going to add something.
Okay.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu.
Traffic, Blue Zenith is at 1,000.
4 miles to the east, we'll enter a left downwind, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Downwind for runway 9, Little River.
And what I'm doing is I'm kind of bringing us out and in so we can actually enter a nice 45 to left downwind.
74, Whiskey Delta,
Practice that one real quick before we hit it.
Okay,
Get a
so
mile.
moving. Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, 4 miles to the east,
We'll enter.
we'll enter left downwind, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Awesome. And you got a half a mile till you need to make that radio call.
Okay. Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, 4 mile east, will enter left downwind, runway 23, Cedar Key.
You are awesome. A lot different from our day 17 Class Delta arrival, huh?
It really, really helps writing down the key points.
Well, on top of that, another principle of learning we talk about in in-flight coffee is spaced repetition. You've had some space between flight lessons. And again, that all adds to it as well. It makes it really, really great.
Yes. Oh, I see the runway now.
Yeah, I'm going to go autopilot off.
Yes.
Okay, I'm hand flying this thing. And our next call will be 2 miles out, entering a left downwind, runway 23, Cedar Key, just like you've been doing.
Yes.
And then after that, it'll get a little easier. Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, left downwind, runway 23, Cedar Key. Then base, then final. You just replace left downwind with left base, and then just final. There's no such thing as a left final. If you're left to final, you got other issues.
And then we will say 23 Mike Zulu at the end, right? Or we end with Cedar Key.
Oh, we still end with Cedar Key, yep.
Okay.
Number 2 behind the Citabria.
All right, you can make your 2 mile call, just like your 4 mile call, add the left downwind in there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I should wait, right?
Yeah, they're getting busy, huh?
Yeah.
Nice, 1,000 feet to lose.
Red White Support Cruiser, 5 west, inbound landing low.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, 2 miles east, will enter left
Downwind?
downwind, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Not bad. You threw yourself on until you got to hit that button. You got to really hit that button down, and your microphone's falling here. You got to keep it up close because it's gonna be hard to hear you.
Yeah, I could hear that.
You can hear it clicking, but they don't hear anything. They don't hear that clicking. They hear you clicking off.
Oh, okay.
So our next radio call is going to be entering Cedar Key, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, left downwind, runway 23, Cedar Key. And let's go ahead. I'm turning downwind. You make that call.
All right. Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, left downwind, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Awesome radio call. Your next radio call is going to be us turning left base.
Yep.
Traffic, Red White Support Cruiser.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, turning left base, runway 23, Cedar Key. Same thing, you're just exchanging left downwind for left base.
Yep. And do you like making the radio call when we turn?
Always in a turn. Makes it so much easier to spot a turning aircraft. All right, I got my altitude back in check here.
Yeah?
I'm going to turn base in 3, 2, 1. Let's make that call.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, left base, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Awesome job. That's the place we always get dinner, right down there.
That's right.
Always have to watch the water tower, and then you have to watch sailboats. in the cove right in front of the airport there. Our next call is going to be turning final.
500.
Got that sun right in my eyes, and you can call final, please.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, turning final, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Awesome job. All right, speed's good. I'm at 69. Happy with that. Displaced threshold in front, no sailboats, nothing else to worry about. All right, fuel, seatbelts. Your seatbelt's good, sweetie? Everything is set over there?
Yes, good.
Speed's at 60. I like it. 61. Love it. Nice. Short field technique coming in with a little displaced threshold, mostly because there's boats sitting here sometimes. And we're on airport property. Slowing, slowing, slowing. Stall warning horn. Still firm, but she was a short field landing, so it's perfect aerodynamic braking.
Good job, baby.
Thanks. Ooh, a little R66 helicopter. A little easier in here with a helicopter.
Yes.
Awesome. So MzeroA Nation, how did Magda do? I'm telling you, some mixed practice, working that in there is always such a benefit. Hey, why don't we turn around? Why don't we show them a short field takeoff as well? Will you announce Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, back taxi, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, back taxi, Cedar Key. Runway 23, Cedar Key.
Good job. All right, so let's show them a short field takeoff as well. Why not have some fun with it? It's a beautiful sunset, everything else. Everyone's out here. Let's wave to everybody. Hi, everybody. Everyone's out there. Stuart, why don't you tell them why taxi a little bit? I know so many of them have pre-ordered Aviation Mastery, the book, aviationmastery.com. Talk to them a little bit about the love that went into this book and how it benefits the foundation.
Yes, wow. Jason and I have been working on this Aviation Mastery book for over 2 years now, and it's just an ongoing process, you know. Mastery never ends, and we feel like the more we learn, the more we want to add into the book.
I don't even want to publish it because I'm like, oh, I learned this today. I don't want to send it to the publisher just yet because like, I keep learning new stuff every day.
Yes, we love reading a book a week, and the more we learn, the more we want to add. And I just keep asking him, can I have the file, the master file, to keep getting making changes?
Always.
And it's just an amazing tool, but not only for aviation, but also personal development. And I love how Jason implemented aviation topics to personal development, because at the end your your aviation career will be a direct reflection of your personal growth, right?
That's so true. That is so true.
Yes.
Darren, why don't we practice another radio call? Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, departing, runway 23, Cedar Key. No need for a run-up. We're already good. We never shut down. So Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, departing, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, departing, runway 23, Cedar Key.
Not leaving any runway behind me. Great radio call, by the way. The team always makes fun of me because I get so close to the edge. Look at that. Look at that. I'm almost on the grass. I'm not leaving an inch of runway behind me. Get us pretty close to square here. Not perfect, but close enough. All right, we're going to hold the brakes. In this aircraft, oddly enough, the POH, it doesn't say to use flaps in our particular model, so no flaps. Everything's good. We're going to go full power. Seatbelt's good. Everything's set.
Yes.
We're going to go full power. Hold the brakes. Engine gauges confirm green, 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 green. Off the brakes evenly. A little bit back on center line there. Airspeed's alive. There it goes. Engine gauges green, 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 green. And look at that. We're taking off in about 600, 700 feet. There we go. Not as good as that R66 helicopter over there, but pretty good. Climb out, VX climb out above any obstacles. And then lowering it to a nice VY climb out. Why don't you make a radio call? Cedar Key traffic. Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu departing the area to the west. Cedar Key.
Cedar Key traffic, Skyhawk 23 Mike Zulu, departing the area to the west, Cedar Key.
Awesome. We'll make a crosswind, downwind departure. MzeroA Nation. didn't plan for a short field, or short field takeoff, but it's just too pretty up here today. I hope you are just having an outstanding day. I hope your flying is just, I hope you're continuing to pursue mastery, not just in flying, but in all aspects of your life and everything that you do. If myself, if Magda, if this amazing MzeroA.com team can be of service to you, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I know this is a longer video, but I hope you got a lot away from it, and I hope it helps you with your radio communications. Magda and I read every single comment on YouTube, on Facebook, on MzeroA.com. Thank you to everyone who's made the new learning management system such a success, the new online ground school, and everyone who's made Aviation Mastery, the book, such a success. Have a blessed, amazing, outstanding rest of your day, and most importantly, remember,
a good pilot is always learning.
Have a great day, everyone. We'll see ya.